Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hey Audie, hi Cree. How are you? I was hold on. Let me make sure I put this on mute. Give me a second. I don't want the other phone going off. Put it on all message. Hey AKA, how are you? Hi Stephen. Um I was going to explain what that post that I made yesterday. Hey Janet, hi Sassy Mom. How are you? I'll go into details in a minute. Hold on. Then if also people won't miss it. Hey Stephen C, how are you? Let me get my phone ready to put over here. Give me, I hope I don't lose you guys. I should have put this on here before. Hey, Mikey. Hi, Susie. How are you? Happy to catch a live. Hope everyone is well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's let it fill in just a minute. Hi, allegedly. How are you? Hold on. My post about yesterday. Well, let's start with a meditation first. First, we're going to do something. Hold on. Let me see if I can change my view on my phone. Give me 1 second. If I lose you, sorry. Hey, everybody. Now I can see you guys. Hey, Diana. Yeah, let me see if I can get everybody. I'm just gonna do that gen test on my thing because she thinks it's so good. So we're gonna try it out on my. Hold on my sink and see how good that works. Can you all see if it works? Hold on. I don't know if you can see my sink. Can you see the sink? Let me bring it down a bit. We'll see if it works. I think you guys can see it, right? Let's try it. Let's try it, Jen. Yeah, I'm going to make sure, see if it works. Why not? Hold on. I sure am. I sure am. We're going to get a little bit of Cool Whip. And we're going to put it on the side like we did. Let's see how good this is. We're going to smear it with our hands because we do everything with our hands, right, Jen? Then we're going to get some butter. Oh, I think I had too much butter. I'll save this for Clint in the morning. Hold on. You never want to put it to waste. You can save this for your toast, for anything you want in the morning. You don't have to worry about using it up. There you go. We're going to try it out and see. Does it work? Leave it there for about 30 minutes. When you see the first ants coming in, then you rinse it. Don't rinse it until you see the ants though. Oh my God, and it's so good for your hand. It's like a moisturizer for your hand. Look at this. Now you feel like you have a grease. It'll never come off your hands. In fact, you can use it on your face too. You don't have to buy any type of lotion. See how good that works? But what I wanted to say was that, hold on. Wait, we could come back to it. Ew, it's so greasy. Yeah. But if it works, it works. What I wanted to say was that you got to have your camera on. And that way you say you don't lie. So Jen says that if you have your camera on, what is that noise? Are the ants coming in already? If you have your camera on, you're not gonna lie. So I just won the Powerball. I'm a multimillionaire. Look at my eyes. I'm telling the truth. See? And you all can go suck it because you're not getting a penny of it. See, I'm not lying. I can have my camera on and tell the truth. Thank you, Sassy Mom. Thank you. But you see, I didn't lie. Cam up, bitch. You're not telling the truth because you don't cam up. If you cam up, you're not going to lie. I won the Powerball. I'm not in Florida anymore. This looks like the old kitchen, but it's not. And I'm not lying because I cammed up. But now, what I want to really try is this bitch, Jules, is driving me nuts. Driving me nuts. I can't handle it. But you guys can do some type of a meditation. You can do some meditation because you can't handle the stress. And here's what I've learned about meditation. Close your eyes. Close your eyes, Mikey. Close your eyes. So feel the wood. Feel the wood. It's smooth. It's smooth. Don't think about negative things. Simply Blonde, stop writing shit. Don't get me out of my mood. Feel it. See how soft it is? It's gentle. It's smooth. It's cold. It's cold. Get some mints. Grab some mints. Grab some mints. Hold on. It's relaxing. It's minty. It's minty. Grab some things. Listen to the water. Listen to the water and relax. Yeah. I feel mint. I feel a little tense, but I'm going to say something nice to Diana. She's such a beautiful person. I can tell by her avatar. She's beautiful. She's kind. Say something about Jules, even though I don't like her. Jules, you start with the letter J. There, I said it. Jules. I'll pray for you. You start with the letter J. See how smooth this is? Pass your hand by it and relax. Breathe. Relax. You're okay. Everything's going to be okay. This is cold. This is really cold. Feels so good. Relax. I'm not looking at the chat because then I'm going to get stressed out again. This is so cold. Just relax, everybody. I still taste the mint. You can taste the mint, which makes me relax, which makes me feel better about myself, which makes me not want to lie to you guys. Jules, you really need help, bitch. Oh, no, I can relax. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I think I need another mint. I'm going to need another mint. Yeah, that helps. It's minty again. Again. Hey, backdoor Benny. It's minty. I can taste it. Yeah. I'll pray for you, Stephen. Jules, I can't. I need to relax again. I'm feeling better. Who the hell's that? Hold on. Paula! Where, Paula? Where? Paula, where? Did I get it? Paula, did I get it? Paula, did I get it? Is that it, Paula? Did I get it right? Back to the breathing techniques. Relax. The ants are moving into my sink now, but relax. It's all good. It's not a problem. And when nothing else works, you go for your, hold on. You go for your emotional support animal. Where's Mia? Where's Mia? Where's my chickens? Oh no, mine's is not chickens and mine's is not Mia. Just relax. Relax. Of Swifters. And just hug your emotionally support animal and you'll be okay. You'll be fine. I promise you. Everything is going to be okay. Everything, it'll work out. I promise you it'll work out. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. Hi. 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 Yeah. So nice to see you guys. We all need emotionally support animals. We all do. It helps us meditate. Breathe, baby, breathe. Emotionally support iguana. There you go. He only eats chickens. I don't let him out that much. That's why. And he's very tamed. He's never bitten me. Hey, Virgie. I brought Virgie out of the woods there. He's super tamed. I caught him when he was frozen, and now he's just not unfrozen anymore. It's looking like a little stiff. I think he needs butter. Look how good the butter's doing. Look how good the butter's doing. You can just see everything wash away. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Let me make sure you guys can see the butter. Are you guys seeing it? It's all over the place. It's just so butter. Look, and even I'll tell you what you guys can do, because I like to give you guys things you can do with your butter before it dries out. Hold on. I added so much butter, and there's enough there for Clint for tomorrow. So you can even get this. You don't want it to go to waste. Hey, Mona. So you rub it against the sink. Watch. And you have buttered toast. You have buttered toast. You save money on this shit. You don't even need, look, you can spread it. You don't even have to dirty a knife. You can get as much as you want. And it's still, look, it cleans it better with the butter and the bread and the Cool Whip. You don't need to buy anything else. It's all good. Then you just leave it out for the ants. All right. Yeah, that was nasty as fuck. All right, now on a serious note, my hold on, I'm gonna turn. Lisa Marie, you're too funny. Ew, you want some toast? Just come to my house. I got butter, a lot of butter. I got butter inside my nails. That's how much butter I got. All right, so now on a serious note, that post that I made yesterday, JJ has a mustache. What? What the hell is going on here? I was trying to use that Cool Whip and butter thing that Jen tried. Now I gotta clean my sink again before I go. Instant manicure too. Ew, yes. So now on a serious note, hold on, I'm gonna turn this off because I really need to clean this before the ants come. Oh, didn't happen. How do I do this? Give me a second, let me clean this off. This is disgusting. Jen, it didn't work. It did not work. Yuck. Let me make sure I clean this shit off. Okay, don't go for Jen's tips on cleaning house. Okay, let me go sit over there. I'm gonna go sit it. Hold on. Hold up, hold up. Let me get my phone so I can see the comments. I don't get that much time. No, I'm not eating the dog food. I got my limits. That shit ain't happening. Not up for anybody. Okay, hold on. Let me bring this down. Let me see if I can be in the dark like Jen does when she's in her room. Hold on. I got to put this down more because then it's going to show my 55 chins. Let's see if you can see me at all. How do I turn? Oh, here. Oh, yeah. Oh, this looks so good, Jen. What do you do it in the dark? And no, E11, I don't have filters because I don't know how to use filters on the phone. So I don't know why you said that. So when I made that post yesterday about the 90-day fiance shit, I was so pissed off. And I'm going to tell you why I was so pissed off. Hold on, I'm sorry, but I got to read the comments down here because I don't see it. Remember when I started watching 90 Day Fiance? It was season 1, all the Danielle and Muhammad shit and all that stuff going on. Well, he moved to Miami to be with me. Danielle knows that. I didn't know that. And neither did he, but Danielle thought so. He didn't. He moved to Miami with Luisa, with somebody by the name of Luisa. And then after he moved here for a little bit, when I say little bit, I mean 2 months, maybe 2 months max. He left to another state because she wanted to go to another state. She didn't want to stay in Florida. And then he came back by himself because she didn't want to stay there. She didn't want to come back to Florida. He didn't want to stay over there. What did you say? Let me see. Danielle is from the 90 Day Fiance show, season 1. So then he came back by himself. Within 3 weeks of being back here, hey, Coffee, he found himself a girlfriend. So he moved in with this girlfriend, which was the one he was living with when they did that scene on Miami Beach. They rented a place overnight, TLC, because he didn't want to do it in his apartment because he didn't want his girlfriend on TV. So he did it that way. So it wasn't his apartment. It was something rented, a room rented for a couple of hours for TLC. So then that didn't work out with him. And then I had somebody reach out to me back then who was a fan of the show. Really, really, really pretty woman. I mean, a really, really nice lady, really younger than Danielle. Pretty women, no baggage. She just wanted to help him out because she had a good heart. So she reached out to me and she said, I've sent him messages and he doesn't respond. Can you send him a message and tell him that I want to furnish his new apartment? Not, I want to buy him a couch. I want to furnish his new apartment. So, when I sent Muhammad that message, his response was this fast. Who is she? Let me talk to her. So he talked to her. Hold on a second. Hold on. So he talked to her, and you're so glad you got away. Yeah, me too. I've never talked to her again. So he talked to her. She furnished his apartment, like I think it was the living room and a whole bunch of nice things on the wall. It was over $3,000 what she bought in furniture because she told me. And they met up, and he ended up dating her for quite a few years, but they didn't want it known, so it didn't happen. Nobody had to know. But then what happened was that she was set up in her own, whatever state she was in. I think she started off in Indiana, and she was single, she was divorced, and she had no children, and she had her own house, beautiful house. Remember when you guys would see him in the house and he said, you guys, anybody can have this dream if you work hard. That was her house. And the beautiful dog he had, that was her expensive dog. So then, hey Susie. So, oh, Mona, okay. So then he said, this is my dog, my house. And I told her, why do you let him do that? Why do you let him, like, they said, oh, the wall is beautiful, the color that you picked, Muhammad. He goes, yeah, I just painted it. No, it all came with her. It was her house, everything was painted. So I said, why do you let him take credit for your hard work? And she said, it doesn't bother me. If it makes him happy, let him take credit for it. So then, this is somebody who's never been in trouble in her life. So then she said one day that she was selling her house and she was putting everything into storage. So that's what she did. She sold her house, put all her furniture into storage because her thinking was that she's going to be able to buy a better house in the near future. So she took the money that she sold the house wherever, I think it was Indiana. I know the prices over there are not even close to what it would cost here to buy the mansion that she had. It was a huge house, but you don't get nothing compared to if it was here in Miami. So she sold it. So she sold it and took that money. No, not Luisa. By that time, Luisa was gone. Luisa went to another state with Muhammad, and he came back to Miami. He didn't want to stay over there. Then he met this woman who was she was on Facebook. She used to follow. She used to do his when we had that private group. She was one of the mods there. She was the only connection he had to everybody else when nobody would respond to. He wouldn't respond to anybody. So she sold the house, bought him a brand new rig. I mean, brand new kick-ass rig. And she was a truck driver also. So she bought him a rig. She bought him a brand new car. and she went on the road with him. First day she had her own truck, and then she sold it and got a less amount of truck because she bought him this truck, and she wanted him to become a truck driver. So they were both doing truck driving, and then it got, hey Sue, good morning. And then it got to the point where they hardly saw each other. So he sort of convinced her into not being a truck driver, and she was truck driving before she met him. So he said, you should come with me. We drive around. This is from her perspective. This is what she had told me all this time, because we never lost contact. And when they were riding together, he asked her to, I'm telling you, if I could post a picture, you would not believe that I think that she was beautiful, but her self-esteem was really low. So she would tell me things that he screamed at her for nothing. He didn't let her talk to anybody outside in the truck rest place. He hit her, and I think he hit her, from what she told me, 3 times, and the last time she hit him back, and she knocked him down, which made him stop hitting her. So after that, to me, I would never, never say anything good about this man. Yeah, he hit her. And not only that, yeah, but let me go back a few steps. Before this lady, before this one, he had another woman. After Luisa and before this one, there was another woman. And one day he would message me, not text, on Facebook. And whenever he wanted something, he needed a favor for something. So then one day he calls me, and I'm like, why is this guy calling me? What am I going to do for him? Why is he calling me now? He was in trouble. So he called me for advice. And he said, I go, what is going on? He said, I just broke up with my girlfriend, which is an unknown person. I don't know who she was. And her father is a lawyer. So, no, a judge, not a lawyer, a judge. And I said, okay, and he says, what is it that you do when you put something on the phone, a tracker on the phone, so that he can know everything she's doing, and he can get all her conversations and everything on her phone. And I said, oh my God. And she found it. So he says, is that bad? And I said, you're going to get deported. You're going to get deported if her father is a judge and you did that shit to her. And he says, what do? I go hang up the phone and kiss her ass. Kiss her ass and tell her you're sorry, because she was pissed off because he did that. And that's the only thing that saved him, was that she forgave him and didn't deport him. Send him to me and I'll learn. Oh, but the boss. So then he obviously made up with her enough for her not to come after him and go after him legally. And then he met this lady, the one that furnished his apartment. So they were by this time they were riding around together. He had Danielle going after him for deportation, and he had whatever he was making as a truck driver wasn't meeting his expectations of all the lawyer fees and all the immigration things that he needed to pay for and stuff. So he was telling this woman, by this time she had blown all her money, everything was gone. So he was telling me, again, this is from what I heard from her, I don't talk to him. She was telling me things like she borrowed money from her family because they didn't have enough money to survive. He was sending money back to Tunisia, and then so she was borrowing money from the family, and he was taking it out of their joint account faster than it was being put in there. So I said to her, don't put money in your joint account if he's doing that to you, because he was taking thousands of dollars from her account when she would get it from family, and he was sending it to his country in Tunisia, is what he told her, because he was buying a house for his mom and for him to go back in the future, for his parents and for him to go back in the future. And it was a lot of money. And I told her, stop doing this, because you're going to get, you're literally putting she says, I can pay them back because I can turn into becoming a truck driver again. And I can pay them everything I have back again. I said, why are you doing this? Like, you're not even doing it. She said that she needed money for lawyers. She needed money for the truck, a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, just saying to start at the beginning. Okay. No, I stopped cleaning. I'm too much traumatized by the butter. Sorry if I'm not seeing all the comments. I'm blind. Yeah, yeah. And then the thing is that so she never. I don't know if she got to pay the person back a little bit of it or not or nothing at all, but that it went by and I got tired of talking to her because I said, you're not listening. Like, you're just saying, you call me whenever he does something to you and you're not listening, that you deserve better with this. And when I'm telling you this, it doesn't matter if you're beautiful or ugly. This woman before meeting him was married to an Albanian. And as soon as his 2 years were up to get his green card, he dumped her. And it wasn't a Danielle and Muhammad thing. They were the same age. She was a little bit younger than he was, and she was beautiful. So he dumped her. His plans were get that green card and go back to Albania and travel back and forth. So then after she divorced this guy, she met Muhammad. So then I heard from her maybe every 2 months or something like that for a few years. And then about 6 months ago, she called me and she said that they had broken up and that she had kicked him out finally and got rid of him. Here's what happened though. When she kicked him out and she got rid of him, he turned around and went straight to her grandmother and said that the reason that she had asked for all this money was bogus. It was a lie. It had nothing to do with what she said she was going to use it for. And he didn't tell the grandmother that he was taking money from the account and sending it to Tanisha. So he took that money and he sent it to Tanisha, and then he told his grandmother that she was lying. So then he went as far as to tell the grandmother that he was going to testify against her for the grandmother. So he testified against this woman on the grandmother's side. If she deserved jail time, he deserved jail time. They both deserve it because he's got the money. She doesn't have the money. He has it. So the FBI didn't give a shit about that. They cared that the woman asked her grandmother, it came from the grandmother, and Muhammad was on her side. So then she was talking to me that day, and she said that she's going to prison. She's going to prison because he told the grandmother, and the grandmother is pissed off at her and is pressing charges. It's a grandmother, not that she grew up with. It's her grandmother that she never had that connection with. So they had just like started getting back together again. And the grandmother didn't have like that grandmotherly affection shit. She was like, oh yeah, Muhammad, is that what you're saying? We're gonna go after her. And he's like, I'll be a witness against her. So then, even though he had done that, I know it was horrible. Even though he had done that, he called her like 6 or 7 months ago, and he said he needed $50,000. Hey, Pretty Bird, he needed $50,000 for some lawyer stuff for his green card because he's got a problem where he's out in North Carolina and he can't leave North Carolina for a reason. Something must have happened there. We don't know what happened. And then she said, if I had $50,000 to lend him, she asked me for $50,000 to lend him. So I said, I don't have $50,000 to lend him. And she says, can you, he wants, and she said, okay, I'll tell him. I'll tell him. So she's telling him what I'm saying. And then she comes back and she says, can you apply for credit? Can you apply for a loan for $50,000? Hey, Miss Reed. And I said, no, I'm not going to apply for a loan. And she says, I can be paying you back. And they're not together anymore. This is how weak-minded she was. I can be paying you back $900 a month until the $50,000 is paid off. And I said, why would you pay me back $900 a month when you're not even together with him? And she goes, I know, but I feel terrible for him. I don't want him to get him deported. And I don't know what kind of legal trouble he's in. But I will start working as a truck driver and we're not together anymore. And I'll pay you that money back. And I said, absolutely not. It's not going to happen. So then she said, okay, that's all she can say, right? So then she tells him, and he comes back and he says, and he also wants to know if he wants to, he's in North Carolina, so he wants to fix this paperwork, and he wants to know that if he can come live with you guys for 6 months or less, and that way he can find a job in Florida and Miami and start getting re-entered into Miami and live in Miami, because that's where he wants to be living, not in North Carolina. And I said, absolutely, hell to the no, never, never, never. That's not going to happen. So don't even. And then she said, he said he will explain to you everything when he gets to Miami. He doesn't want to talk to me on the phone because he knew I was going to tell him off. And then she said, he says he can move into Miami there with you guys. And then he'll explain to you face to face everything that's happened to him. And I said, no, absolutely not. So that was the end of that. 3 days later, he went on his IG and he announced his child just born, or not just born, it was like a 3 or 4 month old baby. And he announced that he was married to some lady. And this ex-girlfriend called me back and she said, are you looking at his IG? I go, yep, I saw what he posted. And then she said, so in other words, he was going to take those $50,000 because he's an Uber driver and spend it on his family, or send it to Tanisha like he did the other $300,000 that was taken from the grandmother. So because he reported her to the police, and the grandmother's an elderly person, this woman who's never been in trouble in her life and has always given, because she was the first and only one who furnished his place with her money, and who sold her house because she's that stupid to give him a brand new truck, is now sitting in prison for 3 years, who's never had a record, never had done anything wrong in her life, and can't be anything. What can you be when you come out of prison with a record like that? And then she's not I'm not talking about a regular, I'm talking federal prison, FBI shit. Her life is ruined. And he's sitting nice and fancy on his IG, making it sound like his life is perfect. That's why I tell you, when you see all these reality TV stars and you think, oh, it's so cool to meet them. Oh, they're so, you know what happened to her? What happens to many women online with that are flirting with foreign men, or them foreign men pretend to be a white man from Washington or whatever, that he flirts back and forth with them. It's called a love scam. So that happened to her. The only difference is that he's in the States. He's not in his country. But that happened all the time. What does it say? She was, well, yeah, it's like a catfish, but she wasn't catfish because she met him in person. But he was never, she was learning Arabic. She was reading his what is it called? I forgot now. Let me read some of the comments. He married somebody from North Carolina. She wasn't Muslim until she married him. They get job for being a hot mess. That's what TV producers want. Yeah, but the thing is that that's what they want. But the thing is that you fall for it. That they fall for it. These women. When I started watching that season, everybody was going. Hold on, let me read these comments. I got to turn this off because I'm not looking at the thing. These women fall for him blindly because he was on a TV show. I don't understand the Quran. Yeah, she was reading the Quran. She was praying. She was reading. She was speaking Arabic. He promised her, like he promised this woman that's in prison, that hola, he promised her that he was going to take her to Tunisia to meet his parents, and she was practicing everything. And in the meantime, he knew, because this friend of mine that is in prison now is all tattooed up. So he knew that his parents would never accept her, and I used to tell her that he knew that they would never accept her tattooed up, and he said there would be no problem with it. You know why there would be no problem? Because he got the money to send over there to make his parents' house better, bigger and better, and build his own place. And that's exactly what he did. And now she has no home, she's not free. no money, and she's in prison for 3 years, and she's got to pay every penny back to her grandmother, which she's an adult, but, and I'm telling you, she has to serve her time because she's an adult and what she did was wrong. But he went scot free. He got nothing. I'm in for season 1, piece of shit. He got nothing, but he went scot free. He's living his life with his wife in an apartment in North Carolina, working as an Uber driver. Nothing happened to him. How old is this woman? The woman that he was with was 38. And when I tell you she was no Danielle, she was beautiful. I'm sorry, Danielle, but it didn't, she matched more with Muhammad than Danielle would ever have. But I always told her, I said, there's no way in hell would he take you to meet his parents with all the tattoos that you have. I'm telling you, there's no way. Did the rig get taken away from him? I think so, because from what I heard, he's an Uber driver, or he sold it. Muhammad, creep factor 5. Yep. She's 38. Yep. Danielle looks like Anne's sister. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and she's now in prison for 3 years. Can't do shit. She's stuck there for 3 years. And when I tell you that she had no family backup, she had the grandmother, and they had just made up, and so she has no family supporting her. She's got 3 years to sit in prison and think about, was it worth it for her, and all the lies that he told her, all the lies. Because when he hit her, she documented it, but she wouldn't call the police on him. She took pictures. Lost is real. She took pictures of the black eye. She took pictures of her arms. 3 years of hell. Yep, that's what she got. 3 years of hell. I thought he drove a big trailer, earned good money. Instead, he beat and lured women. Yeah, the big trailer that he was driving around was hers. Was paid for by her selling her house. And when she met him, not only was she making big money, she had her own house, beautiful furniture, everything. She had everything going for herself. Who you were talking about? Oh, okay. Did she ever show you those photos of the abuse marks? Yeah, I have it on my own phone, on my old phone, and I'm gonna charge it up. I'm not giving out her name yet because I haven't talked to her. You know why I only say it now? Because back 6 or 5 months ago when she called me and she said, we're going to court and he's going to testify against me. Her grandmother shouldn't have gotten her in legal trouble. I know, but this is a grandmother who's just because you're a grandmother doesn't mean you have made good choices. And this is a grandmother who just didn't, it's not like what you see on TV, the caring type of grandmother. She helped her out, but she would turn on her in a heartbeat. And to go on his side instead of his granddaughters. And I'm telling you, this is a person who, if I were to tell her right now, Simply Bond is homeless, she's sleeping on the street, and he's like, she would be like, I know she doesn't know me, but send her $1,000 here. Make sure she goes in somewhere good. That's how she was. That's how she's always been. And she had a target on herself by doing this because once I told him that she wanted to furnish, send him furniture and stuff, he immediately started to respond to her. And that turned out from immediately responding to her to dating her. And that's what I expected him to respond to her because anything that was for free. She had sent him before he moved out. She sent him a really, really expensive camera because remember he was doing photography and shit. And I'm telling you, the camera was at least $1,500. But that's how she was. She didn't do it with anything bad intentions. It just happened that when she furnished his place, he started going in her DMs and then he started flirting with her. It's sad. It is. It's really sad. I feel so bad for her. And there's nothing that she can do. She's stuck. So when a couple of days ago when I started asking somebody, I'm like, I wonder what happened with her. Did she finally go? And then I searched her name, and then she got 3 years. She got 3 years in prison, and he got scot free. And I'm telling you that the many times, who is messaging me? The many times that she said that she was that she would get more money from the grandma, and as soon as it hit the bank, he was taking it out. And I said, why are you putting it in the bank then? Why don't you open your own account? And she confronted him, and he said, I don't know I don't owe you an explanation for anything. It's not money he earned. It's not money that was given to him. So her only solution, her only thing is that it's going back to Tanisha. Thank you so much. So sad that bad men, yeah, a nice woman. I don't even think he ever hit Danielle, honestly. I don't think I've ever heard Danielle say that he hit her. Maybe, or she didn't say, but he definitely hit this woman. And when I tell you that, um, well, she did smack him back the last time. But when I tell you that this woman was really nice, she wasn't one that argued with him. Her self-esteem got to the point where she wore no makeup and would walk into a rest place and make sure that no man would talk to her. And then he got to the point of going with her to pick out clothes for her to buy so she can wear. Thank you, Mona. No common sense. And I said, why would he go with you to pick out clothes when you guys are working in a truck together? Why can't you wear whatever you want? And she said that he thought she had been too revealing at times. And when I'm talking about revealing, the pictures that she would send me is just like t-shirts and jeans, because Danielle would fight back and he knew it. I know, but look what happened to, and then at the end of that, when she told me that he was going to court against her, then 6 months later, she calls and says, can he can you try to get a loan for 50,000? And I said, he literally went to your grandmother and he's going against you in court. And she said, I don't care. I understand that. I just can't see him deported. So even though he turned on her against the grandmother, going on the grandmother's side, she still didn't want to see him deported. I don't understand how good women get caught up in this shit and how they could ignore the signs because it was signs there. After that time, the last time I talked to him was when he did that to that judge's daughter. That was the very last time I talked to him. All my conversations have been with her. I feel sorry for her. Like I feel sorry for any, hey Tom, like I feel sorry for any woman who would fall for that shit. Any woman that would fall. He would tell her, I gotta contact the lawyer. That Danielle's coming after me for more. He's asking for more money because Danielle keeps fighting it, and she didn't want to see him get deported. Yet all the money she gave him was going back to his own country, and he had said it. He told me when he broke up with the lady that he had done that to her phone. He said that his idea was eventually to go back to Tunisia. So he was going to build the house next to his family's house and make his family's house bigger. So I have no doubt that she didn't lie to me and said that he sent that money back. And I don't even know how the police or the FBI didn't even take that further and hear her and say, okay, at least I'm going to prison. I accept that I'm going to prison for it. It was my stupidity, but he's got to get charged with something. And he got charged with nothing, absolutely nothing, because he went to the grandmother to snitch on her for breaking up with him. So he was the grandmother's witness. She's in prison. She can't interview now. Promised her a family, which she might have wanted. Yep, she might have. That's what I assume that could have happened. But every time I see him, like when I saw him, everybody thinks that he was such a good person. When I saw, hold on, let me fix this bed, the doggy bed, not my bed, not my bed. I only have one. Hold on, it's in the living room. Every time people would say he's doing so much better, he would show off where he's at and that he painted all that shit. Everything you saw in those IGs was her house, her furniture, her computer, her TV, her large screen TV, her color choice of walls. And he would lie to the people and say, I'm doing so much better since I separated from Danielle, that I'm living this great life. There was no great life. It was all hers. And how he convinced a full ass grown woman to sell her house to buy a large truck, I would never understand that. She can get clearance for a phone interview. I had told her that when she decided to come here, when she decided to come to finally turn on him, that she was allowed to be on my platform and I would tell her story. And she said that she would definitely do it. But she wasn't sure if she was getting any prison time yet. Then I never heard from her. And then the other day, somebody I trust said, whatever happened to her? And I said, I haven't heard from her in a while. So I um, got my phone, my old phone, because her number was on my other one. And I called and nobody answered. So then I started doing some research, and yeah, she got 3 years prison time. So that's where she's sitting at. So she wanted to do an interview, and then I don't think she felt like she was gonna. She's never been in trouble in her life, so I don't think she felt like she was gonna get prison time. And she got not only 3 years, but she's got to pay every single penny back to her grandmother, which of course it's the grandmother's money, but she's responsible for paying the whole amount back herself, all of it. And he came out, here's my son, here's my new wife. I'm an Uber driver. This is great. And if that doesn't look like a love scam to you, I don't know what does. He is in America. He's in North Carolina, but the thing is that he has a wife now, and I read that he has it said 2 children. I only see one on his IG. But that's the same exact same thing as a love scam international, but here in the US. It's exactly those women who fall in love with these guys internationally, and they said, "Oh, I need this for this, and can you send me $400 and when I get work, and then $5,000." And this is heartbreaking, but preventable. Yep, ladies, know your worth. Yep, know your worth. I told her many, many, many times, like he has nothing going for himself, not looks, even looks. If he had looks, um, and she was like gaga over him. She wasn't even that attracted to him, she said. Just something about her. He grabbed her onto hold to her, and he had this power over her because of Don Danielle. Yeah. And now he's scot free. She has a record for the rest of her life, and she's got to start from scratch again in 3 years when she gets out. All for what? He's living his life, and you know what? He doesn't even lose sleep. That's what gets me pissed off. He doesn't even lose sleep about how much this woman did for him. And he's there kissing his wife, not knowing her, not knowing what everything he's done, and living his life, not even thinking that this woman is sitting in a cell for 3 years. Forensic accountants. I know, and they need to investigate the fraud and wire transfer of felony. Yep. They never investigated him because he gave her up. He called the grandma and said, "Hey, she's been lying to you. She took your money." He didn't say, "She took your money and I took her money." He never said any of that. So there you go. That's what he did. This is the great person that everybody says that he lived here, that I met him here, none of shit. He's always been from one woman to another. As it was a story, Maria. I think it was Lisa Marie said. I I don't think they're going to do anything about it. I think that he needs to be investigated, period. Because fine, she got 3 years and it's done, and she'll serve it and she'll be out. But what a trash bag human. But he needs to, if they would have done their homework the way they're supposed to do, they would have seen the transfers, him doing the transfers somewhere else on his account. Because it was pulled out of their account into his account, and then from his account off to another country. They would see that. She couldn't spend that kind of money. It will bring awareness because does anyone else know of this? No, nobody does know of this. Nobody does know anything about this. And I wouldn't have said anything if she had not been arrested. But for him to go to get her in trouble and get her arrested because she broke up with him, knowing that if you track it back down, it's going to be tracked down to his account and out of the country. Because every time she borrowed, it was 12 different times she borrowed money from her grandmother. And at times she would pay back, like monthly, like the thing she told me, 900 a month or whatever. And then she would ask, or she would ask for more and more and more. And every single time that she was asking for more, he was transferring him out. And I said, why do you keep asking? Why do you keep asking for money to help him if he's transferring it out? So you can't see what he's doing. He literally told her he needed $50,000 was the last time. He needed $50,000 for a lawyer because that was 6 months ago, for a lawyer because he was going to get kicked out of the United States and he couldn't leave North Carolina. And if he had that kind of money for the lawyer, he would be able to leave North Carolina for Miami and start a new life. Any kind of media that can spread awareness about this predator. Yeah, he is a predator. That's what he is. He's a parasite. He is. But I'm telling you, from day one, he needs to lose his green card. Yeah, he did not. He has no record. He has no record. He ruined her life, her record. Nothing. She literally has been driving trucks since she was in her 20s, making tons of money, loved by all the truckers because she was so kind to everybody. Story on all the channels, and then others will pick it up. I hope so. I really do hope so, because you don't do that kind of shit here. And trust me, when everybody said, "Oh, Muhammad, you talk," no, I never met him here until Danielle told me he was here. I had no idea he was here with somebody else. I had no idea that he was here. And by the time they played that thing on Miami Beach, he had another girlfriend, which wasn't Luisa, and he only had that other girlfriend because she had a place in the beach. I know they need to stop it. So she had a place in the beach, so he needed a place to stay. So he lived with this woman until he decided to get his own place. And when he moved into his own apartment, that's when I told this girl, or we were talking back and forth because we had that, what is like a Facebook group, private Facebook group, where you can ask him anything. It was his group. And that's when she told me that she wanted to send him something and he hadn't answered her. And I said, she wants to send you a little bit of furniture for your apartment and some decorations. And she went all out, like all out. When she did that, he started responding to her big time. And then before you knew it, he moved into her place. He left Florida, he moved to her state, into her house, and that's where you see the IG videos of how well he's doing with that beautiful, expensive, it was like a $5,000 dog. And then after they separated, you never saw pictures of that dog again because it's her dog. That dog would go with them on the truck. Sounds like a prolific scammer and fraudster. Yeah, I don't understand what his grip was with women, because the thing is that he was super dominating, and this is a strong woman. Anybody who's can go on a big rig, drive around the world, around the states by yourself, is one tough woman. Not everybody can do that. I couldn't do that, driving around by myself. She had no fear whatsoever. She would take the orders and do her deliveries like if she was a guy. And I'm telling you, she was small, skinny. She wasn't like a really big woman where she had a lot, nothing. You would never, it's the last person you would be expecting to be a truck driver. I knew he came for a green card. No way he would marry Danielle for love. It was obvious, but I thought came to get work. Well, he was working when she bought him the truck with her house money. And then she bought him a car because he said that, when they're not driving the truck, he needs to be driving a car. And then that's when he started saying he needed money for lawyers. He needed to get the paperwork. It was hard for him to get the green card. He was having a hard time. And she just wanted to make it easy for him because he kept saying that he was going to get deported, and she was in love. Hey, Jane D. She didn't want him to get deported. But then when he got really comfortable with her was when he got bossy and told her what she can wear, that she couldn't wear any makeup, that let's go clothes shopping, and I'll pick out what you can wear. And then got violent with her a couple of times. And her mother had met up with her at a trust. This is why I tell you, the mother was just as her mother and her didn't have a good relationship. But this is what I tell you, that her mother is just as bad because her mother took pictures of her with the bruises. And the mother, she said, I'll do something when I can. She's in Florida. I'll do something when when you want to leave him, then you maybe it's I can't. If my daughter has pictures like that, I would be like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna do everything possible to get you. The mother's like, it's your choice. I'll save the pictures. It's your choice. And that's what she did. And then she would forgive him and they would get back together, and the mother would talk to him like nothing happened. I'm telling you, that shit happens to a Latino family and you're done. You are done. Is it true you set them up? How would I set them up? I don't know them in person. I've never met her in person. So when 90 Day Fiance did that episode with him and Danielle meeting up at the coffee shop, and he talked about this great life and how successful he was as a truck driver, he was abusing this woman. No, at that time, he was not a truck. He was a truck driver at that time, he was a truck driver for a company with their truck. He would work for a company, and I got to put some chicken in this. Hold on. He worked for that company, and he was using their truck to deliver everything. But then he convinced this woman, because she was a truck driver too, and she worked for a company just like he did. And then he convinced her to buy a truck. That way, if you buy your own truck, you make more money. You don't have to work for somebody. And that's exactly what he did. What is this? So that's what he did. He convinced her into buying the truck, and she bought it. So I have no idea what happened to the truck, because hold on. Here, let me see if I can do this. I'll show you guys my cooking skills. Ready? Ta-da! Best chicken ever. We're gonna make some. So he sold the truck, and I think that by the time they broke up, the truck was gone. He might have been lying when he told her he might get deported. I know, from North Carolina, so she can. That's what I told her. I said, he told you he was getting deported, so you would give him $50,000, and he had $50,000 for him and his wife. You like my cooking skills, Tom? I knew you would. So he wanted the $50,000 as a cushion to have money in the bank. And no way in hell was he going to pay her back, my friend back that money, because he never paid her back anything else. But she was saying, I wouldn't screw you over, Maria. I would, all you have to do is put your social security number. I would pay you $900 a month. I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to be able to pay you back. And I said, there's no way I'm signing anything for $50,000. And then when she said no, she told him no, he says, tell her that once I'm in Florida, once I'm in Miami and I'm staying in her place, I can actually explain to her what everything has happened. Like, oh yes, Muhammad wants to stay here. Let me just give up everything and let him move in. And he gets to talk to me like from person to person. And I said, that's not working out. Because she's from a family that never acknowledged her property. Yeah. She came from a family that never chicken strips are Maria's. Let's go. Yeah. She came from a family that never acknowledged her, treated her like shit, was never good to her. And she did so much for her parents and her sibling and her brother and her grandmother. And she always thought that she had to prove herself to them all the time. And that was a perfect person for him to go after. And now when he had no use for her, she's in prison and he started his brand new life. More manipulation, which you are not to do with. You are not going to do with Maria. Oh, hell no. Hell no. But I truly expected to find, when I went looking for her this past week, I knew she was probably going to get prison time, but I thought he would be charged with something. Nothing. Zilch. Scot-free. His life started all over. And I've not talked to him, so I don't know what his side of the story is. But her side of the story was that the money was leaving her account faster than it was going in. And I said, close that account and open a new one. Close that. And she couldn't do it. She said, I don't want him to think I lost trust in him. I said, so instead of telling me, tell him where's the money going. Because when it was out of money, he would ask her to get more. And she would do it. That's why I tell you this. This shows only brings shit to people. They see who's weak. They see who and that back in the day, back then, started making food. I'd rather eat at Maria's. There you go. That just I tell you, back in the day, I don't watch the show anymore. I've watched like tell-alls and shit. But back in the day, when I was watching it, if any of the people, any of the cast members said hi to you in a chat or sent you a message or you reply to your comment, everybody would be like, oh my God, he's a star. He's this, they're that. And you have to remember, they bring out the worst of the worst. And those are the ones that people want to argue with and do shit. And look, he left victims everywhere. She's a victim, but she's also responsible too. Yep. For your friend when she doesn't have a voice. I'm so upset with what happened to her. I am going to reach out to her in prison and see if I can help out in anything. But I also want to see why she wasn't charged. And exactly, I used to talk. And if anybody can help me figure out how I can get a transcript of that court hearing, because I would love to know what he said. I used to talk to Andrew 90 Day. Oh, the one with the daycare, the one that Cooch called. That daycare. Hello. She might as well say it was Cooch. It was her voice. TV, and they call him a star. I know, and they call him a star. But that's why when Danielle said, "Oh, Maria, who the fuck would want him?" Honestly, who the fuck would want this guy? It pissed me off all these years of her saying that. When you hit the bottom of the barrel, there's Muhammad. I felt bad for him and his mom. Yeah, for that daycare. Yeah, me too. For Andrew, not Muhammad. Yeah, because they immediately went after the daycare. Why would you go after the daycare? If you don't like somebody on TV, why would you ruin their business? It should never have been touched. But that's what they do here. That's why I always say be careful messaging these people, especially when they have nothing to lose. When Danielle kicked Muhammad out of the house, he had nowhere to go. He had so many people messaging him for a place to stay, and he ended up leaving with Luisa. And Luisa, who had a son, I don't know why, what possessed her to pick up and just move to another state with Muhammad and make his life easy because he wasn't working. And anybody who remembers Luisa, she was a beautiful woman also. Like she had a lot going for herself. But for some reason, beauty is on the outside and she had no self-worth on the inside and gave up everything for him. I don't get it. So this is like a hard lesson for people, but don't fall for these people. Don't fall for any of these men that do this kind of shit. These women, I don't get it. You set yourself up. You were, she's in her 30s, this woman. She had her own house. She had bought her house like 10 years before in her 20s, and everything was set up fine for her. And then she meets Muhammad. And not only lose everything, she loses her freedom. And I bet you 1 minute he's not thinking of her in prison, not even caring or thinking anything of the things that she did for him all these years. Remember, like she used to tell me, she was with him longer than Danielle was ever with him. She had more years with Muhammad than Danielle had. And this is how he paid her back. This is what he did to her. No person is worth going to jail for. No, it's not. No person at all. To lose the daycare, or could he keep on? I don't know if he lost it. He is not thinking of, no, he's thinking of his great life. He's an Uber driver. He has a wife and kids, and they live in a nice apartment in North Carolina, and he doesn't care shit about her. Nothing, never crossed it. But he did care. When she called me 6 months ago, she said she hadn't heard from him in a while. And then I said, isn't that ring a bell to you? Like a stop here? He's calling you after all these time, asking you for money. And she's like, because he knows that I have a soft heart for him, that I don't want him to get deported. Don't deport him. Buy him a one-way ticket back to Tunisia. That's it. I don't know if she's appealing. I'm going to reach out to her and see what she's doing, or she's just going to sit it out and wait. I don't know. She really, really, really had no support. So I pretty much don't think she's appealing shit. She probably doesn't even have a lawyer. Or make him pay that money back. Yeah, if she can prove that that money came out of her account by him, not by her, and was transferred to his money to his account, then he should be charged too. He shouldn't get away with it scot-free. Soft heart, stupidity and desperation, nothing to, I know, but desperation for what? Desperation for what? When I'm telling you this woman could have been a model, she could have been a model. What's a desperation for? And who hasn't been caught yet, then deports his ass. Yep. Hey, Sly, what's up? Oh, that's not Sly. Fuck you, William. Call your daughter, William. Oh, wait. She knows you're a loser. She doesn't want anything to do with you. Do you know that William said on his live, well, just a few days ago, when he was drunk like always, that he couldn't give a shit if his only daughter died? He said that on his live. That's the kind of shitty person he is. That's why his daughter doesn't like him, and she wants nothing to do with that loser. Can you love yourselves, ladies? Yep. Yeah, freak. Use your name, William. I can't imagine saying that of your own daughter. But that's what he said that about his mother, too. He just doesn't care. He was angry and always complained on TV. Danielle lied to him about her financial status. That tells you everything. Yep. Yeah, he said he doesn't care about his daughter. Hey, Freeside. William is burning in hell. William is a sick puppy. Yeah, you know what I also wanted to clear up was I saw Karma is a Cat's post about Jen's post the live and that her daughter had seen it and she was disappointed. So I had not heard the whole thing. Hold on, let me turn this off. I had not heard the whole thing. So what I did hear was so I was trying to listen to part of it this morning. What I did hear that pissed the shit out of me is that Jen says the reason I haven't gotten any cash apps is because Jules and Maria reach out to the people sending me cash apps to tell them, how dare you support somebody like that. I don't know if her followers are stupid or what, but you cash apps nobody can see. So there's no way. First of all, it's not true. And if it was true, how would we know who sent the cash app? She doesn't say, hey, thank you for the cash app, this person or that person. So she's lying. And I hope they catch on to her and realize how she's lying to the people. Nobody can see the cash apps. Nobody can see your PayPals. Jen, this is why people take it out on you when you lie about people that way. Please tell us who, no, tell us who we've harassed about it. Cash App, PayPal, Super Chat. Tell me who. Because I bet you won't come up with one single name. Thank you, Nurjen. You know what? I did speak to Sylvia yesterday because one of the things I saw on the thing was that Sylvia said, why is Maria not, why, Danny, she wrote, Jen, why is Maria talking about you? You haven't even mentioned her. And Jen's response was, no, I haven't. And that really pissed me off last night. And I did message her and I said, she was really nice. And I said, what do you mean she hasn't mentioned me? She literally dragged the hell out of me Friday night in Deadly's chat on his panel, dragged me for no reason at all and said horrible things about me. And I said, but you didn't. And she goes, oh, I didn't know that. I go, no, I know you didn't. And that's why I'm telling you. There's no reason why I would have had a live on her yesterday if she hadn't done this to me on Friday. Because she didn't see it on her channel, but she doesn't follow Deadly. Who they want. It shows that people don't donate. It also shows that Jen is jealous that other people are getting and she is not yet. So she makes shit up like that. Nobody knows on Cash App. Nobody knows on PayPal. For that to come out of her mouth, the people in her chat should have corrected her and said, nobody knows that. Don't lie on that. But they didn't. And that's why I wanted to correct it and say that. So I did speak to Sylvia and then she apologized and she said, I go, when you have time, go listen to Friday Night's Deadly and listen to the horrible, it wasn't just one thing, the horrible shit that Jen started saying about me. On your main channel? Back and forth, back and forth. I've been sending them proof. And every time you respond to them, it takes 3 days for them to respond back to you. By the way, thank you for saying that. I got an email for my FOIA. Maybe it's bringing serious important tea today. Oh, thank you, Sassy Mom. I got an email for my FOIA. Remember I said I was gonna get the FOIA for the call that came in here, that Dreamsicle called, that one? It's been that long. It's never taken this long. So I'm like, what the hell? It just says pending. So I got an email this morning and they have 2 calls. So I had to pay for it, which is nothing. It was just $2.50 each. But when you make a payment, I made the payment for each one and it says payment accepted. Now I'm waiting for it to come back with the audio. But 2 calls. It was not just one call. So we're going to find out who the 2 people that called are. Because 2 people called for wellness checks. I know one of them is Dreamsicle. Who do you think the second one is? Can we take a guess on who it could be? I wonder who. Who knows? But we'll find out. Hope I've been looking at my emails trying to see, but it hasn't updated yet. I guess it takes a bit, but I'm sure I'll get it sometime today. Probably 4G. It could be. Wouldn't that be something? And yeah, I was thinking Anne, but then I'm thinking, well, she does it through WhatsApp unless it's another way of calling. But I didn't expect two people calling. I expected one, and it was Dreamsicle. That was it. So then I thought, oh, they're just doing the same thing twice, but it had totally different numbers on it, which means two people called. And then said, there, we're the ones that go real life. We're not the ones that go real life. They are. They're the ones who are doing this to people. Where's my Missy Tessa? I don't know. I haven't seen her around. All right, I've got to get ready. Let me see. Let me get my. Hold on a second. Let me turn this on real quick before I leave. This is going to say bye-bye to my emotional support pet because it'll be my grandsons after today. Real going real life must stop. I still be about them. They grow up and start behaving. Yep, you're right. Have a good day, everybody. I have to rewatch. And if I get the live, if I get the audio, I'll come back on tomorrow. If I don't, it'll wait till the weekend or whatever. Oh, thank you for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's it. We'll see what happens. If I get it before Friday, I'll come live. If I don't get it by Friday, I'll see you guys on Friday. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of the week. We'll help an emotional support you want. You're so funny, Jane D. Iggy, yes, bye.